So last week I was at a run club event, and this guy that I don't really know very well came up to me and was just like, "Hey, you're a coach, right? Do you mind if I ask you a question? How do you breathe when you run?" And that's a pretty broad question. And when he followed up, he was like, "Should I be able to breathe really easy? Should I be breathing as fast as I can?" And questions like this are actually pretty common. I get a lot of questions around how to breathe, what the cadence should be, how their foot should be landing, whether they should be stretching more, warming up more. And when I really poke at this, just like with this guy, what's really underneath these questions is a deeper question of how do I get faster? But the thing a lot of people don't understand is that getting faster isn't just one simple fix. It's a mix of things and adaptation over time. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Daniel Steamer. I'm a multi-certified endurance sports coach specializing in running for adults. I've personally run over 130 races, including 3 marathons, 2 ultras, and 4 half Ironman. And I coach everyday adult athletes from their first race to their biggest adventures using the exact same techniques I use myself. So today I want to break down what it actually takes to make you faster as a runner. I think this is a very common question, and it's a very reasonable question, and it's something people are always chasing. They want a faster pace. Now, this won't be all-inclusive. There's a lot of details and nuance and things I won't cover in this video, but today I'm going to focus on 3 systems that anybody can focus on: their form, developing their cardiovascular adaptation, and working on their structural adaptation. Each one of these is contributing differently to what results in faster running, and no single tweak or tip you might get about running can substitute anything working on these 3 systems will get you. So first, let's start by talking about form efficiency. If you spend a lot of time online, you're going to see lots of coaches talking about form and good form. And the thing is that good form doesn't necessarily make you faster by itself, but bad form is going to be wasting energy. And that's really what the focus should be about. So for an example of what I mean by form efficiency, let's talk about that runner that asked me about breathing at the start of this. So he had actually run by me earlier on the trail, and I had noticed that he was running very upright and had very little hip extension behind him, leading to very little push off. So he was taking lots of small steps, which meant he was absorbing a lot of impact with each step, but getting minimal distance for the effort. He was basically working pretty hard with no return. So for him, more efficient would be something like leaning slightly forward a little bit, pushing farther back with each stride, kicking off the ground harder, getting more push through the ankles, and basically getting more energy return for each step, covering the distance with less energy expenditure. For most people, the simplest ways to get more efficient form are to reduce overstriding, having your foot land underneath you instead of in front of you, so that because when it lands in front of you, it's like a little bit of a break and it slows you down. At the same time, a lot of people understride. This guy who was running very upright had a bit of an understride, so his foot was landing slightly behind him. His toes were kicking, also causing a braking force with each stride. But as I mentioned, you can only really get a few percentage points of efficiency out of your form corrections. Form alone has a ceiling on what it's going to allow you to do in terms of getting faster as a runner. So the next system I want to talk about is cardiovascular adaptation. And what we mean by that is how much oxygen your body can deliver to working muscles and how efficiently those muscles can use that oxygen. The more adapted you are, the stronger output you're going to have and the slower your fatigue is going to be. So specifically, when we talk about cardiovascular adaptation, what we're talking about is a few things. First, how efficient is your heart? Do you have a higher stroke volume? Every time your heart contracts, is more blood being pumped? Second, how efficient are your lungs? Every time blood moves through your lungs, is more oxygen being pulled into your bloodstream? Third, is your capillary density in your muscles? Is there more avenues for blood to get to your muscles and deliver oxygen to those muscles? And fourth, what is the mitochondrial density in your muscle fibers? Is that density higher to better utilize that oxygen that's being delivered and produce more power? In practical terms, more oxygen being delivered to muscles that can more efficiently use it results in more power being generated, equating to same amount of work for less strain. You can run the same pace at an easier heart rate, same pace, breathing easier. So to this guy's question, how should he breathe? It's the reverse. Your pace determines your breathing, not the other way around. Your efficiency determines your breathing, not the other way around. No breathing technique will change that. Now, How you get these cardiovascular adaptations comes through a whole bunch of modes of training, primarily easy runs, sustained long runs, and speed work, mixed in various different ways across multiple weeks, maybe even months, depending on your starting fitness level. And the last major part of getting fast that I want to talk about is your muscular and structural adaptations. This is what we call your structural fitness. We're talking about how strong your bones, your muscles, your tendons, your joints are. Running fast requires your body to repeatedly produce more force without it breaking down. As your body adapts, some of the changes you'll see are things like your muscles being able to recruit more muscle fibers per contraction, meaning more force coming from the same muscle. You'll also see things like your tendons and connective tissue in your joints becoming stiffer and more elastic, which improves what's called the stretch shortening cycle on every push-off. For speed, this is most important in your Achilles tendon. When every time you step, that tendon gets stretched and then snaps back. If you've adapted it to be thicker and more elastic, you will get more energy return every time it snaps back. But also on top of that, your bones increase their density. They get stronger and more resilient to taking impact, which allows you to take on more training volumes and do higher intensity workouts. So when you see somebody doing a short stride like that runner I mentioned, sometimes that can be a sign that their structural fitness hasn't caught up to them yet, that they're not actually capable of producing the energy to push off farther or have that elastic return in their muscles and tendons. And so this is why other modes of training like sprints and hill work and strength training outside of running matter. They force these adaptations in your structural system. Now, an important point, your structural fitness is your slowest to adapt. While cardio fitness can adapt in weeks to a few months, structural fitness can take multiple months depending on your starting point. And repeated exposure over that long time is the only thing that's going to cause these adaptations, to make your muscles stronger and produce more force, to make your ligaments and tendons stronger, to have more stable joints, to make your bones denser, to be able to absorb more impact and volume. And so here's the thing. These three systems I just went through, more efficient form, stronger cardiovascular system, and structural fitness adaptations, aren't independent paths. As a runner, you want to work on all three and improve all three over time. And I've alluded to this, but you do this through multiple different modes of training. There's easy runs, which produce cardiovascular change and develop your base. There's tempo runs and threshold runs, which push your cardiovascular system closer to its limits and create change at the higher ends. They also work on your structural fitness, creating more demand from your muscles. There's short form work like sprints and hill repeats, which emphasize power recruitment from muscles and pushing your cardiovascular system to its complete upper limit and working on recovery. There's strength training outside of running, which focuses entirely on your structural fitness, working on your muscle strength and joint stability. And then there's other things like drills like high knees and butt kicks and bounding, which work on your mind-body connection to better control and fire off the muscles at the right timing sequences. So when people ask questions like, how should I be breathing? What's the right breathing technique? What's the right cadence turnover? What's the right foot strike? What they're really asking is, how do I get more efficient? How do I get faster and stronger as a runner? And those are fair questions. Everybody who runs wants to be a better runner, wants to be a faster runner. But breathing technique is not going to make you faster. Just artificially changing your cadence isn't going to make you faster. These little changes, these little hacks we seek out aren't going to make you a faster runner. What will make you a faster runner is consistent training through different modes over time. So if somebody asked you right now, what is your training focusing on? Could you answer that? Or are you just out there running? If you find this kind of information useful, please subscribe. My goal with this channel is simple: to provide everyday adult athletes with the information they need to train well and live their biggest adventures.